The Florida Panthers survived the hurricane. They survived the storm. Maybe it was just a little bit of wet rain, or maybe it was something different. This game was fantastic, I thought, from puck drop to puck finish. There are so many amazing storylines we can talk about in this one. The Florida Panthers pushed hard, executed their game plan flawlessly. I said earlier when they were playing Toronto that they didn't have any pressure, and I believe that fully. They are on the path to their third trip to the Stanley Cup. They are one game closer to it after dispatching Carolina at home. But hold the horses here. I thought Carolina played a much better game than what the scoreboard showed here today, and I'm going to prove it to you with receipts. I just think that the Florida Panthers executed their game plan flawlessly, and the reason I think they did that was because of the lack of pressure. They had fun out there. They loved that game. From top to bottom, every part about it gets Florida going. The Big Cats, meow, they love getting into deep water. They love being on the road. They're road warriors. They have taken more wins on the road than they even have at home. They love the physicality, and they love getting teams to change their system to play against the Panthers. And I think that's what happened to Carolina. I think Carolina came out guns a-blazing, led by Sebastian Aho, who was absolutely dynamic in the first period. He was everywhere all at once, even getting the first goal to close out to the period with seconds left. You're going to see all of these clips, highlights, and breakdowns as we get a little bit further into it. But I do think Carolina executed well 80% of the time. The 20% of the time, Carolina didn't execute well because they overpressured, they overpushed, they got themselves out of position, or Florida baited them out of position. And then Florida capitalized. The hyper-talented Panthers will take any moment of weakness you have, any mistake you have, and put it into the back of the net. And every single mistake that the Florida Panthers made, Carolina couldn't capitalize on. Now, good things that happened in the game for the Panthers. They got to Bobrovsky. They ran him, snowed him, hooked him, got in his crease, annoyed the heck out of him. You have to do that in a series. It's going to pay off dividends in the end. But I think they actually took themselves out of position trying to get a little too physical with the Florida Panthers. They tried to bang with them. They wanted to show they belonged. You're not going to intimidate Florida. That's not the way to do it. You have to do it the way you know how to do it. And Carolina just that close. Didn't do it tonight. But Florida did exactly what they expected to do. I talked about the neutral zone being key to this game. It was key to the game for the Florida Panthers. They were able to attack that strong side with pucks off the glass and chipped out of the zone. That resulted in goals. They were also able to crack the Carolina Hurricanes penalty kill. The power play of the Panthers, 2 for 3 tonight, that ends up being a major factor in this game. You're going to see me talk all about that in this video. And then we have another storyline, the game within the game. The game within the game, you've heard me talk about it all over this series. If you've been following me through previous ones, previous breakdowns, you don't have to like it. You just have to understand it. And we saw that with Gostisbehere and Marchand. You guys know how much I love Brad Marchand and Marchie there. I love everything about what he brings to a team. And Shane Gostisbehere did something that I sneakily enjoy as well, too. He shot a puck at Marchand. People will say, no, he was clearing it. Go down below in the comments. You let me know that. But hold on before you do. Hear my point. If you disagree, the game within the game means you have to agitate at times. And I thought Gostisbehere knew exactly what he's doing, rifling a puck at Marchand. Marchand looks at the referee doesn't help him. Marchand does exactly what I would expect a player like him to do. He isn't going to take it. It's a nod to the days of old. He drops the gloves, gets in there, and lets Gostisbehere know this will not be tolerated. But the question is, into the next game, will this get in the head of Marchand? History says it won't. He is usually the guy who is calm, cool, and collected in these moments, even though he doesn't look like it. He thrives in them. But Gostisbehere, I like what he did. Sometimes you got to send a message, and if it isn't going to be with a hit, a punch, or a goal, sometimes you do just fire a puck at a guy. You guys may not like it. You don't have to agree with it. You can call it cheap tactics, whatever. I don't care. You're going to let me know down below in the comments. But this is part of playoff hockey. You do every little thing that you can. Sometimes it results in a dump in that isn't exactly a dump in. Other times it is a player who goes to the net and gets cross-checked and all of a sudden, whoa, I can't stay on my feet and I've landed into a goalie. It's the best part of the playoffs. The other thing that was interesting tonight were what penalties were called. You've heard me say this before as well too. This is not a refereeing channel. Every penalty that gets called is not the one you're expecting, and the ones that you expect to get called, you're never going to get. It's going to be even Steven most of the time. It was very close today, 4-3 in favor of the Carolina Hurricanes, but they were unable to capitalize more than once. The first Bennett penalty, I didn't really think that was a hook, but whatever. Welcome to the playoffs. Go to the box. Carolina doesn't capitalize. Aho gets to the net, gets cross-checked. What does he do? He pushes back by getting his arm around the head, pulling back. That's going to be a call all day, every day. But really what I think that call is, because you can see it happen in the playoffs and it gets ignored sometimes, but I do think it's an easy roughing call. You're looking to even it up. You got to stay in better control if you're Carolina. I know you just took one to the teeth, but hey, sometimes it's better to just cross-check back or wait. Remember, I've said it before, get them before they get you. Florida does that. Florida did that. They got Aho before he got them. It was a nice gotcha moment, and they put the puck in the back of the net. You know what? Instead of talking about all this, let me show you it all in real time in the game. So go down below, let me know what you think about this game and all my comments so far. Leave a comment, helps spread the algorithm. While you're there, hit that little thumbs up button for me. The likes go a long way. And please go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so before, especially if you've watched one video and this isn't your first time. You're going to love the coverage of this series. I'm in beautiful Vancouver, Canada right now, in beautiful British Columbia. We're going to cover you all the way through this series, so make sure you help spread the love for this channel down below. Carolina does an absolutely fantastic job getting this puck to the net on the power play, and they do an even better job battling for it, and Florida does the best job clearing them out. But take a look at the middle of your screen here. Take a look at the Sebastian Aho play. This is the playoffs. Bang, you come to him. It is stick to face. Aho has to get the sword up in order to defend. Aho takes exception to it and he wraps him up. And as soon as he wraps him up, the referee, as you can see, he is pointing, he is ready. He catches Aho in the act. And you know what? It may not have been Aho's fault. He may not have started it, but this is the game in the game. This is the even up call. Florida to the power play. Florida's going to play a little bit of pitch and catch down here between Barkov and Tkachuk, and that low to high is going to do enough to get them running around and getting Verhaeghe into his spot. So there's our little pitch and catch. It goes right to Barkov. And then what do we see here? We see sticks in the lane, exactly what you want to see. Carolina at this point in time right now, they see his eyes, they see his chest. They cannot pressure right now. You cannot send somebody when you see eyes and chest. It's not just a rule I made up. He will go around you so easily. So you get the stick in the lane like you see, but now what you're going to see is the smarts and the brilliance of Barkov. He's going to change the angle by coming up a little bit higher here. That's going to force the Red Sea to part. The Hurricanes are going to leave a gap, and it is going to end up being their undoing on this penalty kill. The penalty kill has to win out if you're Carolina and you want to beat Florida. What they end up doing is changing the direction of their stick. He's not doing it incorrectly because you're kind of damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. You're putting the stick in the lane here so it doesn't go down low to Tkachuk, so Tkachuk can't bumper it back out to Verhaeghe here in the middle. But the problem with that is that's just going to open up this lane here for Verhaeghe, and that is why the bumper is so important in the power play if you're going to play a 1-3-1. So he ends up stepping through. He suckers their stick to the wrong side. Great job there by Barkov. It gets over to Verhaeghe, who's going to step in. And he's going to do what a goal scorer does. He drags it to the backhand and he scores it over the top left shoulder here of Freddie Anderson. Everybody always wants to shoot down low, but when you're a goal scorer like Verhaeghe, you got to look for that top corner. It fits about 2 pucks. And no matter what you do when you're in a butterfly as a goalie, this is the right tactic. It's going to go in the back of the net. Now we're about to see the most insane play I have seen in hockey. You are going to see so many things occurring to cause this Florida goal, and it starts 200 feet away from the net in their own zone. It's going to be Goss's Bear that ends up picking up this puck. Gostisbehere is going to go ahead and break an ankle here. He is a phenomenal skater. He's a phenomenal puck handler. He ends up biffing it. Because of that, Gostisbehere is going to skate in. And then what you see here is another game within a game. Here's that cross check. So if you don't like the fact that people get away with cross checks, it happens all the time. Like I said, cross check them first before they can cross check you. But I want you to take a look at the stick on puck that Florida produces as a second effort here. They are such a hard team defensively to get around. You've made that room. You've made that play. You're looking for that backdoor tap-in play. Unfortunately, you get a stick on puck at the last minute. That is called puck support at its finest. Carolina is going to pick up puck. They're going to have multiple opportunities here. They put it back to the top for another shot on net. Florida gets out to block it. Puck goes into the corner. Puck hounds are all over it again, but instead of going high, and you shouldn't go high, if you go high, you're going to run into this guy. You're going to wrap it around the boards. You pinch in as you should, and this is where things are about to go bad. It's a body. You lay body on puck. You get a really good puck bounce off the stick on puck here, and now you're going to see Florida with their three guys on the strong side. I told you this was coming in our preview. They like to exit on the strong side together. They win a battle, body, and it's another body. They clear them out. Not enough teams in the NHL do this. Physicality matters. 2 big hits cause this. And then instead of going up the strong side, they're going to change. So because of that, they don't stay on the same side of the puck. They end up going to the weak side. The weak side is a dump into the zone while they get changed. Carolina retrieves, and I think Carolina panics here. I mean, you have more than enough time to do what you need to do with the puck here. They don't. They just throw it up the wall. That puck that gets thrown up the wall is going to cause all kinds of chaos in the neutral zone here. And what do we see? It's a good hit here from Carolina, but we instantaneously see the strong side approach from 3 Florida Panthers. 1, 2, 3. They're going to pressure like crazy on that strong side because that's what they do. They win a puck battle. They move it down low. And it's this moment here that's a little bit weird. It's the captain. It's Jordan Staal. Verhaeghe is on him right now, and Staal is going to lose the puck. That's very strange for Staal. It's the forecheck. It's the pressure as he goes around the back of the net. This causes all kinds of problems for Carolina, having to switch sides. This is no good for a team that likes to play man-on-man defense, and all you're going to have to do is get out from behind that net, and you're going to find your buddy Aaron Ekblad, who has snuck in. Ekblad, 0 stick handles on this puck. You do not want to be stick handling this puck. It's catch, it's shoot. On your stick, off your stick, as fast as humanly possible. And he beats steady Freddie Anderson for goal number 2. And you know, that is odd. That's odd for Carolina, but it is not odd for Florida. Carolina has an opportunity to score, but a great defensive play, stick on puck, puck supporting by Florida. You get that separation from the cross check, but it is not good enough after Gostisbehere breaks some ankles. You have an opportunity to keep the puck in the zone. You don't keep it in the zone because of 2 big bodies thrown by Florida. That is game changing. You exit the zone, you get a change, you forecheck like a demon, you cause a turnover in the neutral zone, which causes a Jordan Staal to get a little bit tired, a little bit panicked, loses that puck, ends up down behind the net, and the goal goes in. So many things have to happen in that play. That's why hockey is so exciting. It is always flowing. It is forever changing. And mark my words, when you do not score on high-end opportunities like that, it almost always ends up in the back of your net because you press, you get yourself out of position, and the other team takes advantage like Florida just did. Opportunity from the superstars here. Aho is going to carry it into the zone, and he's going to find Seth Jarvis. Jarvis is going to receive that pass, and as he comes through, take a look here. Just absolutely sick. Ankle-breaking toe drags. What's your favorite type of dragon? It's a toe dragon. He has the opportunity here to put it into one of these 2 top corners. They are wide open. We just talked about it with Verhaeghe. This is the place you have to put a puck if you're going to score. Unfortunately, he doesn't do it. He can't get a good enough handle on it. He puts it right in the breadbasket, right in the logo of Bobrovsky, who makes another massive save in this game. Later on that period as well, Jarvis feeds Aho back. Aho has every opportunity here to put this one in the back of the net. They spring one of their best players here on a breakaway. But you know what? That puck is rolling again. It's rolling pucks on Carolina. He's unable to get a full handle on it. And because of that, I think he is forced to shoot to the 5 hole. You don't want to shoot to the 5-hole if you don't get the goalie moving east-west enough. If he's not moving east-west enough, he doesn't move that stick. And you can see here on the close-up that rolling puck that comes in off of his stick. He's going to settle it down. He gets it settled down, but as he gets it settled down, like I said, that stick is going to cover the 5-hole. He may have missed. There was an opportunity to sneak it in under, but you got to get the goalie moving more in order to put that one in the back of the net. However, all would work out here. Aaron Ekblad doing again what we said they would do in the preview. He's going to dump that puck out. They like either high off the glass or they like the big flip. As the big flip comes through, Carolina is doing what we said they do in that preview. They are fantastic at gumming up the neutral zone and causing turnovers like this. So I expected Carolina to capitalize on those high board chips, high glass chips, or dump outs by Florida, and they do here. They turn it over, they move it up the ice, and now they get into that quick strike offense. This first line is no joke for Carolina. Jarvis takes a beautiful pass over here to Svechnikov. Svechnikov is going to go ahead and find Jarvis again as he enters into the zone. Aho is going to do the right thing, which is drive the mid lane, which pushes both of these defensemen back. You have to create time and space here for Seth Jarvis to work. You move it over to him. They commit to him. Aho is open in front of the net, gets a beautiful tip, and finally gets rewarded for the great period he had. But unfortunately for Carolina, not for Florida, they are unable to capitalize on their two golden opportunities. They could have gone into that one with a 3-2 lead. They don't get it because Bobrovsky shuts the door. Florida takes full advantage of two turnovers that they're able to cause. Steady Freddie Anderson is unable to keep him out of the net. I don't think that's on Anderson. I think Bobrovsky, although he made great saves, the two saves Anderson was asked to make that ended up being goals, those are very hard to next impossible saves to make. Bobrovsky made his own tonight too, but you got to win in the goalie department and you got to win in the turnover department, and the turnovers have to turn into goals if you want to win this series. I think it goes one step further though as well too. Carolina routinely got themselves out of their position because they got a little too aggressive. I think Florida dragged them into that deep water, and Florida psychologically gets into teams' heads. They want to prove something, they want to hit, they want to show they can compete, and sometimes that gets you out of position because you over forecheck, you over pursue, and that's exactly what happened to Carolina. And look, I'll show it to you on this third goal. That puck's going into the zone, and we talked about the fact that they like to use a 1-2-2. So a 1-2-2 is 1 and then 2 higher. This right now is more like a 3-2. What you'd actually like to see is your 2 a little bit higher and your 3 a little bit higher. Preferably you want them here and here, but you don't get that. You almost get this little straight line effect. It's not quite a straight line, but it's close enough. So now you can't execute on your forecheck and you're trapped. You need your F1 to pressure the puck carrier, which is here behind the net. What that is supposed to do in this setup is that is going to allow your F2 to get to the wall, and that allows your defenseman to pinch in while your F3 gets high to support that defenseman. But you can't do any of this when you're trapped in a straight line. So you see F1, boom, he is trapped. He is now a post turtle. He's completely useless. Your F2 then has to pressure, and he actually becomes the F1 at this point in time. Even though F1 is behind the net and trapped, F2 now has to pressure. And F3 over here is far too behind in order to support. So you move that puck up the wall, and that does not allow your defenseman to pinch in as he needs to. So now they have to back up, and Florida's going to exit the zone on that strong side with 3 players like we said they like to. And you have 2 players who are now caught. Here they are. They're caught on the back. One's going to go for a change. There's nothing you can do about this because the forecheck was too overzealous. It's bad gap by the defenseman, and that again, I don't think this is their fault. This is not how the play is supposed to be run. They end up bumping it over to the middle. You drive the mid lane, and your only goal here is to get it over to your F3. They end up moving it right around the stick, and now here we go. We're going to get it to the F3. Anderson has no chance on this puck. And that to me shows exactly why team defense matters. It does not matter if you are forechecking, if you're in the forward zone, the neutral zone, you are in defense when you don't have the puck. And a 1-2-2 forecheck is a defensive system, but you have to be set up properly. You cannot turn it into a 3-2. You will get torched by it every time. Florida did it through good puck movement, and that is why they move so strongly up the strong side. Because when one player makes a mistake, there is another one there to replace them or pick up the puck or be an outlet pass for them. creating those 2-on-1s. That is what Florida did so well tonight. Florida stayed in their system. Anytime they broke, Bobrovsky made a massive save for them. Carolina played heart, soul. They did everything they wanted to do from an energy perspective. They just couldn't execute the fine little details tonight. And Florida took advantage with that hyper talent we've talked about. And if you're wondering, if you haven't been on this channel for some time, I call them a post turtle. Yeah, post turtle is useless. We talk about them all the time here. F1 got himself out of position. He's behind the play. Then he goes to change. We call him a post turtle because it's just a turtle on a post. He doesn't know how he got there and he can't get himself off. Don't be a post turtle, and don't put turtles on post. They can't get off. It's inhumane. Don't be a dick. This game was a fun one to watch. It was a lot closer than I think the scoreboard led to believe. I mean, Carolina outshot them, and people are going to go, of course Carolina outshot them. They always outshoot them. They're not quality chances. We saw quality chances. They just were unable to capitalize today. Well, that's because Carolina doesn't have a lot of superstars. I don't know. Aho, Jarvis, Svechnikov looked like they could play with anybody from Florida. Florida did exactly what they needed to do. They're deep through 3 lines. They capitalized. They moved the puck on the strong side. We all know how good Florida is. We don't need to grease the wheels. I think this one's going to go 6 or 7. I think anyone's sleeping on it. Sure, it could go 4. I could have egg on my face, but I think you're sleeping on it if you don't think it's going to go 6 or 7. I did take Florida in this series, but I think Carolina has more than a puncher's chance. So what? You lost 1 at home. You just got to win the next one. You can't lose 2 at home. But Florida's a weird team. They lost 2 against Toronto. People wrote them off. They came back and won. They won 3 against Edmonton last year. It took them all the way to Game 7 in overtime. You never know what's going to happen with this team. Carolina has the opportunity to bounce back in Game 2. I hope to see you guys there. Don't forget, if you haven't already, subscribe, like. We'll catch you tomorrow.